Hi, I'm Mike from Ontario, speed dating. I'm the guy that has never been able to run an event in 2024. Why? Because despite me trying to save people money and putting on lower prices to my event, I think a lot of people have overspent their money on the first things they see. And if it was my competitor speed dating events, it's probably the first thing because, Eventbrite. Eventbrite has played with the whole event ecosystem. But somebody's got to think about their money sometime in their life, because if you think you can get away with a wonderful relationship without having any literacy of money whatsoever, you will be screwed, and you can expect a divorce from the smartest partner anytime soon. Okay, that was a mouthful. So now, why would Gen Zs and Millennials likely get a declined message on the merchants? Well, not merchants, but at the store? Let me explain. First of all, people need to know the basics of credit card debt. There's terms you need to know. Credit limit. Yes, there is a limit to the maximum amount of money you can borrow on your card. Okay? It doesn't mean fake money. It means the maximum. Balance means the money you have already borrowed. Okay? It doesn't mean fake money that just burns. APR is annual percentage rate, which means the amount of interest they will tack onto your card every single month. And that amount can get very daunting, particularly for people with a high credit card balance, because if you pay bare minimum payment and you have a high balance, your credit card balance is going to keep on skyrocketing. Now, how do I know this? Well, let's do some math together. So first of all, I'll go for, let's say, $1,200 debt. A lot of people have higher debt, but let's make it simple. $1,200 debt. Let's say the annual percentage rate is a flat 20%. So what you do for the percent, you drop the percentage sign, move the decimal over to the left, so instead of 20%, it's 0.2. Multiply that by your balance, which, let's say, it's $1,200 times 0.2. Whatever that number is, you divide by 12 after, because you want monthly. So that works out to be, for a $1,200 balance, $20. Which means they will slap an extra $20 onto your balance at the end of the month. Lots of times they would like that full thing paid off, along with whatever fees they have, which would be significantly higher if you miss payments or if you go over your limit. Check your manual, or should I say your agreement. So you need to try to pay it off all on time. So if you don't pay, I think they give you like 2 months to at least make the minimum payment. You want to make it every single time. If you don't make the minimum for at least 2 months straight, you will be in deep trouble. You may lose a lot off your credit score, which means the odds of you being able to get approved for another loan or another credit product will drop. And your interest rate goes up. And if you think, oh, I'm not going to pay my debt, all they'll do is just play with numbers. No. There is such thing as creditors, yeah. You know, the collection agency, creditors. That's the word. There is such thing as creditors, there is such thing as the court system, and there is such thing as wage garnishment. Now let me explain all of that. First of all, if you keep missing your payments and you either give sob stories that your bank or whoever administers your card does not accept, if you give them bad sob stories, or you just ignore their calls, because if you're really in big debt, they're going to call you multiple times a day, guaranteed. So if you think you don't have to pay it, that will be your first huge warning. multiple calls from creditors. Pay up, pay up, pay up, pay up. Well, maybe not in those terms, but they will somehow try to collect the payments. They may even tack on extra interest on top of that, because the bank has hired a third party to try to collect the amount that's owed to them. Okay? So, you want to pay. I know it sounds sad for your entertainment needs, but it's important you pay your debt. Because if at the point of creditors you just ignore them, guess what? They may take the next step of suing you in court. Okay? If they see you in court and you fail to give a good defense, or you don't even give a defense at all, or you don't even appear to even try to make a defense, well, guess what? You will be in a huge amount of trouble to the point where you will lose things. Yeah. So if your loan product credit card was a secured one where you put something away for it in order to get the card, the first thing they'll do is they'll probably eliminate that. Yeah, somebody's in trouble somewhere behind. There's an ambulance going by. Sorry if I'm not loud enough. So I'm saying, if the creditors can't get the money, they'll sue you. Well, at least if the money's big enough. Like if your debt is a gigantic amount of debt, there's a pretty high chance they will sue you in court. If they sue you and you fail to come up with a good defense and you fail to appear in court, or you just don't want to appear in court, guess what? You will lose something special. If it's a secured product you have, like a secured credit card, a secured loan, and you fail to pay, well, they could be ripping that secured thing out of you. So like if you said, oh, my asset I'll be using for this card today is my house, and you do so terrible on your card, well, guess what? They'll take your house away from you, because you've agreed to it in the agreement. But if it's unsecured, what they probably would do is they will garnish your wages. So that means if you get a brand new job, or if you already have a job, they'll be like, oh, employer, we are garnishing his wages, he has not paid his debts, blah, 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 blah. And then you'll start seeing less money out of your paychecks, much like what the people in the US are seeing right now from being shocked that their student loan debts have not been paid and that the government wants to see payments on them now. Yeah, I know, it shocks a lot of people how they think they can get away with high-class entertainment without putting any money into it, but let me tell you something. People have to work for their money, and I'm actually trying to make money as it is by trying to work out there, making some events run, but the people would rather prefer to spend big bucks on things than to spend less money and keep some away for savings for when they get older. I mean, we are in a ridiculous society, and people need to start thinking, because if they don't think, next thing you know, nobody's going to owe nothing. And like that Klaus Schwab guy said back in the day, you will owe nothing, you will be happy. And I think that's the world we are about to live in. It's very, very sad. Anyways, I gotta get on with my advertising. I've been standing on this mountain long enough. I need to make people aware of my event. So, anyways, that's all I have for now. Bye-bye.